Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Mark Lynn. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. The nation gives its final tribute to the former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh. Numerous dignitaries, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, attend the last rites at Nigambot Ghat in Delhi. Houthis claim new attacks on Israel after strikes hit Yemen airport. Snowfall in Lahore and Spiti and other places in the upper reaches of Himachal Pradesh, while thunderstorms accompanied by hailstorms predicted across many areas in North India. Will India bid a tearful farewell to the former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh on Saturday? The last rites were performed with full state honours at the Nigambot Ghat in Delhi. India's President Draupadi Murmu, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Union Ministers and Congress leaders paid their respects to the late former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh at Nigambot Ghat. The King of Bhutan, Jigme Khesar Namgyel Wangchuk, also paid his respects to Dr. Manmohan Singh. Last rites of Dr. Manmohan Singh were performed by his family members on Saturday at the Nigambot Ghat in New Delhi. Earlier, the mortal remains of late Dr. Singh were kept at the All India Congress Committee headquarters on Saturday morning for the party workers to pay their final respects. Dr. Singh served as India's Prime Minister from 2004 to 2014. He passed away on the 26th of December at the age of 92. And Anil Thomas now joins us with more on the story. Anil, so a fitting tribute to a tall leader as the nation has bid farewell to a Prime Minister, and not only that, a former Finance Minister and, an economic visionary.
Well, exactly, Mark. The mood was somber, especially there at the Nigambot Ghat and also at the AIC headquarters. But then, the tributes that came in from world leaders, from national leaders, leaders cutting across political party lines, political beliefs, and the common man, clearly reflective of the man and the vision that he held for India. Even when he was a member of the Rajya Sabha during, till April this year, whenever he stood up to spoke, the government was ready to listen. I think that speaks volumes about, how, especially when it comes to economic policies, his vision, his ideas had a large imprint for the benefit of India and also for the world. And I think this particular tribute from world over, world leaders speaking, highly about Dr. Manmohan Singh, especially the economic vision that he had for the world, is once again, I would say, once again a belief that, he had answers to many problems that the world was facing. He had shown it in 2008, especially during the global recession period when the world was in the fear of going into recession. And I think even today, his advice and his inputs have helped the nation and also helped many in their path to revival.
Indeed, when we look back, Anil, where he at his last press conference had said that he would be remembered for the civil nuclear deal, but there's a lot more that the world is remembering him for at this current time, isn't it? Because his career was a long one.
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
Well, you're perfectly right there. It was just not many look at him as somebody who liberalized India, but then he also globalized India, and that's not all. Even privatization was something that which was initiated during his times, or rather, which blossomed during his time, during his tenure as the Prime Minister. So all in all, if one takes a look at how things have moved, I think tributes for all the three things that I mentioned. Geopolitics, especially our relations with the neighbors, all the neighbors that surround India, and the Quad, even the initiation of Quad, the BRICS summit that used to exist then, his role, his inputs there have all been valuable. And I think the world leaders, when they speak about, or he making a mention about, history being kind to him,
True.
Than contemporary media, I think today when he, his journey on the earth is over, I think history has been kind to him, especially with the tributes that have flown from every nook and corner of the world for this former Prime Minister of
And
India.
we need to look also within the country itself, because he was not a true politician in that sense. Respect for him has come in from across the political spectrum. That's something also that showed that, he was well received in all political dispensations.
Well, very much true. The Prime Minister making a visit to his home to pay his tributes, and then today being present there during his final journey. The full strength the cabinet ministers being present there, the president coming, and also the Congress leaders in the Congress ranks that came from far and wide, to pay their respects. The large beeline of common man standing there to pay their respects, and waiting to catch a glimpse of the man, Dr. Manmohan Singh, clearly was an indicative of one particular thing, that he struck a chord with every human being that has come in some or the other association or some or the other way associated with him. And I think that's something that, these are some wonderful memories that the family would live with, because at the end of the day, the family is only left with memories, and leaders are, all the memories that the party has about him. And I think it's a grand way to go, if one may look at it. He's lived a good life until 92.
Yes.
And he served in every possible way, not only for India, but also for the world. Absolutely. So I think it's an innings well played, and it's an innings where even though there were tough situations, even though there were many stumbling blocks when it comes to the number of scams that he faced, he came out with a clean image, and that speaks. I think that simplifies how Dr. Manmohan Singh looked at life. He kept it simple, he kept it decent, and humility was shown in every walk of life that he did. And I think the Prime Minister's presence there clearly reflects on one particular mood, the humble background that they both belong to, no political families that they came from, and the humility that they both showed, clearly is a lesson for us to learn on the mutual respect that they both had for each other.
We'll leave it there. Thank you very much, Anil Thomas, for joining us with those inputs. Now, a 21-gun salute was given to the former Prime Minister at the Nigam boat cart. And a special prayer ceremony was held in Bhutan for Dr. Manmohan Singh, the former Prime Minister of India, who passed away on the 26th of December. As a mark of respect for Dr. Singh and in solidarity with the people of India, all national flags across the country and Bhutan's embassies, missions and consulates abroad were all being flown at half-mast. Showing solidarity with India at a time when the nation mourns the death of the former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh, the government of Mauritius has announced that their national flag will be flown at half-mast on all its government buildings until the sunset of Saturday, December 28. Simultaneously, the private sector of the island nation has been appealed to fly their flags at half-mast as well. Now, earlier, the Foreign Minister of Mauritius, Dhananjay Ramphul, also arrived in India and attended the funeral of Dr. Manmohan Singh. Dr. Manmohan Singh retired from the Rajya Sabha in April of 2024. Despite age-related illnesses, Dr. Manmohan Singh attended some sessions of Parliament in a wheelchair, a rare display of dedication by the 92-year-old economic strategist. Let's take a look at the life and times of Dr. Manmohan Singh.
Born on the 26th of September in the year 1932 in a village in Punjab province of undivided India, Singh excelled in studies despite limited resources. He won a place at Cambridge University before heading to Oxford, earning a doctorate with a thesis on the role of exports and free trade in India's economy. His book, India's Export Trends and Prospects for Self-Sustained Growth, was an early critique of India's inward-oriented trade policy. His academic credentials were burnished by his years on the faculty of Punjab University and the prestigious Delhi School of Economics. In the year 1971, Singh joined the Government of India as an economic advisor in the Commerce Ministry. This was soon followed by his appointment as the Chief Economic Advisor in the Ministry of Finance in 1972. Among the many governmental positions that Manmohan Singh occupied were the Secretary in the Ministry of Finance, Deputy Chairman of the Planning Commission, Governor of the Reserve Bank of India, Advisor of the Prime Minister, and Chairman of the University Grants Commission. Dr. Singh leaves behind a legacy of economic achievements by contributing to ushering in economic reforms across the country. Singh spent 5 years between 1991 and 1996 as India's finance minister. When he took charge as a finance minister, the country was reeling under fiscal deficit, balance of payment deficit, as well as falling foreign exchange reserves. But he insisted on many reforms like privatization of public sector undertakings, opening up the skies and easing export-import rules. He ensured more disposable income in the hands of the middle class so that they could spend more. Ease of doing business was his focus, and slowly India emerged out of the fiscal crisis and deficit. Dr. Singh never won the Lok Sabha elections. He was nominated to the Rajya Sabha for the first time by the Congress Party in October 1991, 4 months after he became the Union Finance Minister. He represented Assam for 5 terms in the Rajya Sabha and shifted to Rajasthan in 2019. His last term that ended in April this year. He was the Prime Minister for 2 successive terms from 2004 till 2009. One of the biggest highlights of Singh's regime was securing the India-US Civil Nuclear Agreement that opened up civilian nuclear cooperation. Manmohan Singh led the UPA government delivered about 8.5% GDP growth. The 2 UPA regimes led by Manmohan Singh are credited with the launch of social welfare initiatives such as guaranteed job schemes, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee, and the right to education for every child. Reforms, including direct benefit transfer and national identity number, Aadhaar, were also launched during Manmohan Singh's term as the Prime Minister. Dr. Manmohan Singh's years as Prime Minister were, however, marred with scams like 2G, CWG, and coal block allocations. Despite the late hiccups, Singh's image as a clean leader remained untarnished. He will be remembered as the architect of India's tryst with economic liberalization and sustained economic growth. Bureau Report, DD India.
Well, still to come here on DD India Live. Trump urges the Supreme Court in the United States to hit the pause button on the looming TikTok ban. The death toll in Brazil, bridge collapse rises, search operation continues. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Mark Lynn. In an extraordinary weather event, the national capital New Delhi recorded its second highest 24-hour cumulative rainfall at Safdarjung since 1901. The downpour measured over the past 24 hours, ending at 8:30 a.m. IST today, has left Delhiites grappling with weather unpredictability. This deluge not only broke recent records, but also propelled December's monthly rainfall tally into the top 5 highest since data recording began. The heavy rains caused waterlogging in several areas, disrupting traffic and slowing daily life. And DD India correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya joins us live now. Well, Tapas, the rain seems to have stopped, but has normal life come back, and is sunshine on the horizon?
Well, we will be expecting sun to come out from tomorrow, not today, and it's still quite gloomy here. We are expecting sporadic rainfall activity as the day progresses, but not much. The worst is apparently over. But there are two things that are very important. A couple of things that we are expecting to happen in the next few days. First, we are expecting dense to very dense fog in the northwest part of the country in the next couple of days. And second, and more importantly, a cold wave condition will start come into effect from 29th onwards. So the temperature is expected to fall, and because of that, the cold wave condition is expected to start coming into effect as this particular western disturbance retreats. So once that happens, there we will see that the day temperature and as well as the night temperature, minimum temperature, the minimum temperature currently is over 10 and 12 at an average. We will see that that comes down to almost 4 degrees Celsius at least in the next couple of days, and that will make it a very cold and chilly New Year party apparently. But also we are expecting dense to very dense fog in the national capital region in the next couple of days. Mark.
We'll leave it there. Thank you very much, Tapas Bhattacharya, for joining us with that update. The US President-elect Donald Trump has urged the Apex Court in the United States to pause the law that could ban social media app TikTok, stating that he might need time to find a political resolution to the issue. The Supreme Court of the United States will have its next hearing on this matter on January 10. The law, if effective, will seek TikTok's Chinese owner to sell the company to an American platform, failing which it may face a ban. The death toll from a bridge collapse in northern Brazil rose to 10 on Friday. The Juscelino Kubitschek de Oliveira Bridge, which links the states of Maranhão and Tocantins, collapsed on Sunday, causing vehicles and their passengers to fall into the water below. The Brazilian Navy has been conducting rescues in the area, finding an additional body from the accident site on Friday in the Tocantins River. The Navy also has stated that there are 10 dead and 7 missing victims so far. More than 70 rescuers continued their search nearly a week after the collapse. The causes of the collapse were being investigated. After the fall of the former president of Syria's government, Bashar al-Assad, Now, the Syrians are flocking to Mount Qasyun. They are there to enjoy a magnificent view over Damascus. Assad's government had closed the road leading to Mount Qasyun, and that was closed for civilians after the outbreak of the conflict in 2011, as it offers a strategic view over Damascus and its presidential palaces. But the civilians could finally enjoy the sight from above the mountain that they had been unable to experience for over a decade. A Yemeni television channel released surveillance footage showing the head of the World Health Organization being rushed out from a VIP lounge in Yemen's main airport during an Israeli airstrike. Tedros was in Yemen over Christmas to try to negotiate for the release of 16 UN staff, as well as employees of the diplomatic missions and NGO workers held by the Houthis. NASA announced on Friday that its Parker Solar Probe is safe and operating normally after successfully completing the closest ever approach to the Sun by any human-made object. On December 24, the spacecraft flew within 3.8 million miles of the Sun's surface, entering the corona, the Sun's outer atmosphere. The operations team at Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory in Maryland received a beacon signal from the probe just before midnight on Thursday. The spacecraft is set to send detailed telemetry data about its status on January 1st.
Today we got back very late at night, last night about 11:50 p.m. Eastern time. We got back a green beacon from the Parker Solar Probe spacecraft indicating that it successfully completed humanity's closest approach to a star, closest ever flyby to the sun. And really just an amazing achievement. We were able to actually fly through the upper atmosphere of the corona of the sun, which is just an amazing thing if you think about it.
In news that's coming in, the Afghan Taliban forces have launched attacks on several locations in Pakistan in retaliation for airstrikes earlier this week. A statement from Afghanistan's defense ministry was the issue. It was issued on Saturday, and while the statement avoided directly naming Pakistan, it referred to the strikes as taking place beyond the hypothetical line, which is a term Afghan authorities have commonly used to describe the contested border with Pakistan. India's External Affairs Minister Jai Shankar, who is currently on an official visit to the United States. He's there and he met the officials of the Indian Embassy. He also met consul generals of India in the United States. He discussed opportunities for deepening the partnership, focusing on technology, trade and investments. In the two-day conference with them, he shared his views on better serving the Indian community in the U.S. The minister also met the U.S. Representative Mike Waltz and had a wide-ranging conversation on bilateral partnership as well as the current global issues. Mike Waltz is Trump's pick for the National Security Advisor's post. The minister also met the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken. Both the leaders reviewed the advancement of India-U.S. partnership over the last 4 years. They agreed that the cooperation has strengthened in many domains, just as the comfort levels have grown correspondingly. Both showed confidence that the India-US relationship will serve mutual interests as well as global good. The sports news now. In cricket, India ended day 3 of the 4th Border Gavaskar Trophy Test match against Australia at Melbourne with 358 runs on the board, but 9 wickets are down. Youngsters Nitish Kumar Reddy and Washington Sundar staged a comeback for India. They stitched together a 100-run partnership. Sundar scored a half-century before getting dismissed to Nathan Lyon. Now, on the other hand, Nitish Kumar Reddy, he played on and he's played only 4 tests so far, but he's brought up his maiden test century to keep the visitors in the game. Scott Boland and the Australian skipper Pat Cummins completed 3 wicket pieces for themselves. India's public broadcaster Prasar Bharati has recently launched Waves. It's a platform, an OTT platform, providing complete infotainment to the digital media ecosystem. This is for OTT audiences. It has great content. Download Waves today. Aiming to bring the Kashmir Valley closer and the rest of the country, that we'll bring you that news later, but that's all we have in this bulletin. Thank you very much for being with us. Namaskar.